Hi, I'm John Seaver, and welcome back to the second week of the video blog of my map experience. We traveled from Ann Arbor to San Diego this week. Each workday, we travel from our hotel in San Diego to the factory in Tijuana, a commute of about an hour and 30 minutes. It's an interesting commute, and I thought that I would start the blog by sharing a little bit about it. At the Otay border crossing, many people cross daily for business, and most of them by car, like this. We, however, cross on foot. We did this so that a driver intimately familiar with the Tijuana streets could get us down to the factory safely. The highlight of this process was having to cross a multi-lane road to get to the place where the driver picks us up. But to get there, there's no crosswalk. You just have to brave it. Which is actually an apt metaphor for what the experience of map is turning out to be. Why is the map experience equivalent to not having a crossing walk? Well, let me have my teammate Ben tell you.
Obviously, ambiguity. There are a lot of ambiguous statements, ambiguous information, data that you get. You may hear different things from different people depending on who you ask, so kind of sifting through that information is definitely tough. And
the skill of dealing with ambiguous, amorphous, and undefined circumstances is really something that would serve you well in taking on a map project. But this project has yet another layer of complexity.
It's a Korean company based in the United States, which does manufacturing in Mexico. And we're kind of viewed as students, and they don't want us to kind of, maybe rock the boat too much, or kind of not willing to necessarily listen to things we say. So when you ask questions, it's difficult to balance the desire to get that information versus the balance of not wanting to offend anyone, or kind of burn our bridges with people. So it's definitely a challenge. There's a lot of kind of juggling that goes on. A lot of times where there's very thin lines, and it's hard to know where exactly where you are in relation to that line.
Earlier this week, I recorded this message giving my own perspective on the cultural interaction.
I'm having a harder time with some people sort of connecting on with a level of sort of humor, and I think working without not having that is tough. They just have to work. If they don't want to, if we're not going to have that involved in the conversation, that's okay. But I think it would be nice, be easier if we could work on that level.
Didn't I sound pretty sad that the tool of humor that I usually use to disarm a situation wasn't working? Since recording that message, I've learned that cultural interactions are like a game. You have to play by the rules, but you also have to rely on your team and have to take some risks. This week, I've been relying heavily on my teammate Ben and the professors back in Michigan to give me insights in how to handle meetings much better in a multicultural environment. One important lesson I've learned is about how to use PowerPoint as a tool to bridge language gaps. Also, I've started taking the risk of greeting Korean managers in their native tongue, using words that were at first hard for me to pronounce. Using the traditional Korean greeting of Annyeong Anseo, I brought a smile to their face every time, and it definitely made a difference in making things easier in meetings. It also helped to initiate just a little bit of humor, because I'm sure they thought it was just a little bit funny to hear me greet them that way. So the sun is setting on week 2. We've got an amazing opportunity. But I do feel a little like this surfer, trying to get beyond the shore break and catch a big wave. Which tools will we use to solve this problem? I still don't know yet, but tomorrow's another day and I'm eager. Just to let you know that I'm not some sort of crazy optimist for thinking this, I leave you with Juan for some parting words.
Yeah, I think it's much more different than being in classes and making boring cases. This is real projects, and I'm happy with that.